It is 7:30 in the morning, and the kitchen smells like garlic and olive oil, just the way you like it when cooking something special. You open the refrigerator, pull out that beautiful piece of fish you bought yesterday at the market, the one the seller said was fresh and healthy. You paid more than usual because you wanted the best, the kind of fish doctors say is good for your heart, your brain, your joints, everything really. But what if that exact fish, the one you are about to cook for lunch today, is quietly poisoning your blood vessels with every single bite you take? What if the fish you trust the most is the one silently raising your stroke risk higher and higher, without a single warning sign until it is too late? Millions of people over 60 are eating fish 2 or 3 times a week right now, believing they are protecting their hearts and their brains with every meal. But could the wrong fish be doing the exact opposite inside your arteries right now, building up toxins that increase stroke risk without a single symptom? Today, you will discover which 4 fish are on every doctor's warning list, why they are so dangerous specifically for people over 60. And most importantly, this video is not telling you to stop eating fish, because fish done right is one of the most powerful foods for protecting your brain and your heart as you age. The goal here is awareness, not panic, because knowing which fish to avoid and which fish to choose instead is what truly protects you and your entire family. If this information is already opening your eyes, please like this video right now, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss critical health information. Send this to someone in your family who loves fish. It could prevent a very serious problem. And leave a comment telling me which fish do you eat most often at home. Here is what most people do not understand about fish and toxins, and this is the key to everything you will learn today. So pay very close attention right now. When small fish eat contaminated plankton and algae, they absorb mercury and industrial chemicals like PCBs into their bodies, but the amounts are still relatively small. Then a bigger fish eats dozens of those small fish, and suddenly all that mercury and all those chemicals concentrate inside the bigger fish, getting stronger and stronger. Then an even bigger fish, a predator at the top of the ocean food chain, eats hundreds of those medium fish during its entire long life, sometimes 30 or 40 years. By the time that big predator fish ends up on your plate, the mercury inside its flesh can be 50 times higher than the mercury in a small fish like sardines. And what scientists found next surprised even the doctors themselves, because certain farmed fish that people believe are the healthiest option contain industrial contaminants too. But here's the most important part. You do not need to stop eating fish. You just need to know which ones protect you and which ones put you at risk. So right now, I want you to think about the last fish you bought at the market or the supermarket, and keep that fish in your mind as we go through this list together. Fish number 1, king mackerel, the one that tricks millions of people every single week because it sounds healthy and it looks like regular mackerel, but it is not. King mackerel is a large predator fish that lives for many years, and during that time, it accumulates mercury at levels the FDA officially classifies as dangerous for regular consumption. The average mercury concentration in king mackerel is 0.73 parts per million, which may sound like a small number until you understand what it does inside your body. Mercury crosses directly into your bloodstream after you eat the fish, and from there it travels straight to your brain, your kidneys, and the inner walls of your arteries. Inside your arteries, mercury triggers oxidative stress, which damages the delicate endothelial cells that line your blood vessels, making them stiff, inflamed, and prone to clotting. For people over 60, this is especially dangerous because your arteries are already less flexible than they were 20 or 30 years ago, and adding mercury on top makes everything worse. A woman named Margaret, 68 years old, used to buy king mackerel every week because she thought it was the same as Atlantic mackerel, which is actually one of the safest fish you can eat. She ate it religiously for almost 2 years, believing she was doing something wonderful for her heart, until she started experiencing unexplained dizziness, fatigue, and memory problems that would not go away. Her doctor ran tests and found elevated mercury levels in her blood, and when they traced it back, the king mackerel was the source of everything she had been suffering through. The moment she stopped eating it and switched to safer fish, her symptoms began to improve within weeks, and her mercury levels dropped back to normal over the following months. Here is the critical warning about king mackerel. Do not confuse it with Atlantic mackerel, which is on the FDA best choices list and is completely safe to eat 2 or 3 times a week. King mackerel is larger, darker, and usually sold in steaks or fillets, while Atlantic mackerel is smaller, lighter, and often sold whole or in cans, so always ask at the market which type you are buying. If the seller does not know the difference or cannot tell you for sure, do not buy it because the risk is simply not worth taking when there are so many safer options available. If it is king mackerel, walk away and choose something else, because protecting your brain and your arteries starts with the choices you make before the fish even enters your kitchen. And if you have been eating king mackerel regularly, bring this information to your doctor and ask for a simple blood test to check your mercury levels, just to be safe. Most people have no idea that mercury poisoning does not always show obvious symptoms right away. It builds up slowly and silently until it reaches a point where damage has already been done. The good news is that your body can eliminate mercury over time once you stop consuming it, but prevention is always better than waiting for your body to fix the damage later. So remember this rule from now on. King mackerel is not your friend. It is a mercury trap disguised as a healthy fish, and you deserve to know the difference before it is too late. Now let us move to the second fish, and this one is going to shock you because it is sold under a name that hides exactly what it really is, and millions of people eat it without knowing. Fish number 2, shark, including the fish sold as dogfish or Cape shark, which is the same animal, but with a name that sounds less alarming to buyers at the market. Shark is one of the absolute worst fish you can eat in terms of mercury contamination, with average levels close to 1 part per million, higher than almost any other fish in the ocean. Sharks are apex predators, meaning they sit at the very top of the ocean food chain, eating hundreds of smaller fish throughout their long lives, some species living 50 years or more. Every single fish a shark eats adds more mercury to its body, and because sharks grow slowly and live so long that mercury never leaves, it just keeps accumulating year after year after year. By the time that shark meat reaches your plate, you are eating decades of concentrated toxins in every single bite, and your body has no defense against that kind of toxic load over time. Inside your body, mercury from shark meat does 3 things that directly raise your stroke risk, and all 3 happen silently, without any pain or obvious warning signs at first. First, it damages the endothelial cells lining your arteries, making them inflamed and sticky, which is the perfect environment for dangerous blood clots to form and block blood flow to your brain. Second, it disrupts your body's ability to regulate blood pressure by interfering with nitric oxide production, the molecule that keeps your blood vessels relaxed and open so your pressure starts climbing. Third, mercury increases oxidative stress throughout your entire cardiovascular system, which accelerates plaque formation inside your arteries, the kind of plaque that breaks off and causes strokes in seconds. A man named Robert, 72 years old, used to eat dogfish every Friday because it was cheap, widely available at his local market, and he genuinely had no idea it was shark. He thought he was eating a regular white fish, something safe and healthy, until he started having severe headaches, hand tremors, and episodes of confusion that terrified his entire family. His doctor ran a full panel of tests and discovered mercury levels in his blood that were more than 4 times higher than what is considered safe for long-term health. When they asked about his diet, Robert mentioned the dogfish, and his doctor immediately told him to stop eating it and explained that dogfish is simply another name for small shark species. Within 6 months of completely eliminating shark from his diet, Robert's mercury levels dropped significantly. His tremors disappeared, and his cognitive function returned to normal. But the damage could have been permanent. Here is the critical safety warning about shark meat. In many countries, it is sold under different names specifically to avoid alarming consumers who would never buy it if they knew it was shark. Names like dogfish, flake, Cape shark, rock salmon, and even just whitefish are all used to disguise shark meat, so you must ask your fishmonger directly what species you are buying. If the seller cannot tell you the exact species name, or if they seem vague or dismissive about it, do not take the risk. Just choose a different fish from the safe list instead. Never assume that just because a fish looks white and mild that it is automatically safe, because some of the most dangerous fish in terms of mercury look exactly like the safest ones. Your mission right now is to go home and check if you have any frozen fish in your freezer that might be shark sold under a different name, and if you do, throw it away immediately. Do not try to use it up or finish it just because you already paid for it, because the cost of mercury poisoning is far higher than the price of a piece of fish you throw in the trash. And if you have been eating shark or dogfish regularly for months or years, schedule an appointment with your doctor as soon as possible and ask for a mercury level test. It is a simple blood test. Most doctors do not test for mercury unless you specifically ask for it, so you need to advocate for yourself and mention that you have been consuming high mercury fish without knowing the risk. Mercury poisoning is reversible if caught early, but if it goes undetected for too long, it can cause permanent damage to your nervous system, kidneys, and cardiovascular system that no treatment can fully repair. So please take this seriously. Shark meat is not food. It is a mercury delivery system disguised as a healthy protein, and you deserve better than that for your body and your brain. Now let us move to fish number 3, and this one is going to surprise you even more because it is the fish that health experts have been recommending for years as a superfood. Fish number 3, farmed salmon, especially the kind imported from large commercial fish farms, where salmon are raised in crowded pens and fed industrial pellets instead of their natural diet. I know this sounds shocking because salmon is supposed to be one of the healthiest foods on the planet, rich in omega-3 fats that protect your heart, your brain, and your joints. And that is still true for wild-caught salmon, but farmed salmon is a completely different story, and the difference between the two is bigger than most people could ever imagine. A major study published in the journal Science analyzed salmon from farms around the world and found that farmed salmon contain significantly higher levels of PCBs, dioxins, and other industrial contaminants compared to wild salmon. These are not natural toxins like mercury. These are man-made chemicals that were used in industry for decades, banned because of their toxicity, but still present in the environment and in fish feed today. PCBs and dioxins are what scientists call persistent organic pollutants, meaning they do not break down easily. They stay in the environment and in your body fat for years and years and years. When you eat farmed salmon regularly, these chemicals accumulate in your own body fat, and from there they slowly leak into your bloodstream, triggering chronic low-grade inflammation throughout your entire system. Chronic inflammation is one of the biggest drivers of stroke risk because it makes your blood thicker, your arteries stiffer, and your blood vessels more likely to develop dangerous clots that block blood flow. Now here is the part that makes this even more complicated. Farmed salmon still contains omega-3 fats, which are incredibly good for you, so it is not that farmed salmon has zero benefits. The problem is that the benefits of omega-3 are being partially cancelled out by the harm caused by the contaminants, so you are getting some good and some bad in the same bite. A woman named Linda, 65 years old, was eating farmed salmon 4 times a week because her doctor told her to eat more fish for her heart, and she wanted to do everything right. She bought the farmed salmon because it was cheaper and more available than wild salmon, and she genuinely believed she was making a smart, healthy choice for herself and her husband. But after about a year, Linda started feeling unusually fatigued. Her joints ached more than usual, and she developed skin rashes that would not go away no matter what cream she tried. Her doctor ran tests and found elevated inflammatory markers in her blood, and when they reviewed her diet, the farmed salmon was the most likely source of the problem because of the known contaminant levels. She switched to wild-caught salmon immediately, and within 2 months her inflammation markers dropped, her energy returned, and her skin cleared up completely, which confirmed the source of the issue. Here is the critical distinction you need to understand. Wild salmon is still one of the best fish you can eat. It has high omega-3, low mercury, and minimal contaminants because it eats a natural diet. Farmed salmon, on the other hand, is fed pellets made from smaller fish and fish oil that can be contaminated, plus antibiotics and colorants to make the flesh look pink like wild salmon naturally does. When you buy salmon, always look at the label or ask your fishmonger directly if it is wild-caught or farmed, and if the price seems too good to be true, it is probably farmed. Wild salmon is more expensive, yes, but you do not need to eat it 4 times a week. Even once or twice a week is enough to get all the benefits without overloading your budget. Your mission right now is to check your freezer and your refrigerator, and if you have farmed salmon, decide whether you want to finish it or switch to wild salmon starting with your very next purchase. If you choose to finish the farmed salmon you already have, limit it to once a week maximum, and make your next purchase wild-caught salmon even if it costs a little more because your health is worth it. And if wild salmon is not available where you live or it is too expensive, do not worry. There are other safe fish that are just as good and much more affordable, and I will give you the full list at the end. The key takeaway here is that not all salmon is created equal, and the marketing around farmed salmon as a health food is misleading at best and dangerous at worst, so you need to be informed. Do not let anyone shame you for eating farmed salmon in the past. You did not know, but now you do. And that is what matters, because knowledge is always the first step to protecting yourself. Now let us move to fish number 4, the final and most shocking one on this list, because this is the fish that people pay premium prices for, thinking it is the ultimate healthy luxury. Fish number 4, swordfish, the large, expensive, restaurant-quality fish that appears on menus as a gourmet option and is marketed as lean, high-protein and heart-healthy, but it is none of those things. Swordfish has one of the highest mercury levels of any fish sold for human consumption, with an average of 1 part per million, and some samples tested by the FDA reached over 3 parts per million. To put that in perspective, a single 4-ounce serving of swordfish can contain more mercury than the EPA safe reference dose for an entire 2-week period, meaning one meal gives you 2 weeks' worth of toxins. Swordfish are apex predators that live for decades, some reaching 15 years or older, and during that entire time they are eating smaller fish and accumulating mercury with absolutely no way to eliminate it. By the time a swordfish is caught and sold, its flesh is so loaded with mercury that eating it regularly is like playing Russian roulette with your brain, your heart, and your entire nervous system over time. Mercury from swordfish does not just increase stroke risk, it also damages your kidneys, impairs your memory, affects your balance, and can even cause permanent nerve damage if consumed regularly over months or years. For people over 60, the risk is even higher because your kidneys and liver are not as efficient at detoxifying heavy metals as they were when you were younger, so mercury stays in your system longer. A man named Thomas, 70 years old, used to treat himself to swordfish steaks twice a month because he loved the taste, and he believed he was eating something sophisticated and healthy for special occasions. After about a year and a half, Thomas started experiencing numbness in his fingers and toes, difficulty concentrating, and a metallic taste in his mouth that would not go away no matter what he tried. His doctor suspected mercury poisoning based on the symptoms and ordered a blood test, which confirmed mercury levels that were dangerously high, well above the safe threshold for long-term health. When they traced it back to his diet, the swordfish was the clear culprit, and his doctor told him in no uncertain terms that he needed to stop eating it immediately and permanently. Thomas stopped eating swordfish completely, and over the next 8 months, his mercury levels slowly came down. His numbness improved and his cognitive function returned, but it took a long time to recover. Here is the critical warning about swordfish. It does not matter if you only eat it once a month or on special occasions, the mercury load from a single serving is so high that even occasional consumption adds up over time. Unlike other toxins that your body can process and eliminate quickly, mercury binds to your tissues and stays there for months, so eating swordfish even occasionally keeps your mercury levels elevated constantly. Restaurants love to serve swordfish because it is impressive, it looks beautiful on the plate, and people are willing to pay high prices for it, but they never mention the mercury content on the menu. If you see swordfish on a menu, skip it, no matter how good it sounds or how much you used to enjoy it, because there are dozens of other fish that taste just as good without poisoning you slowly. Your mission right now is to make a firm decision that swordfish is no longer part of your diet. Not occasionally, not on special occasions, not even once a year, because the risk is simply not worth it. If you have been eating swordfish regularly, or even semi-regularly over the past year, talk to your doctor about getting a mercury level test. It is a simple blood test that can tell you if you need to take action. Most people do not realize they have mercury poisoning until the symptoms become severe. So catching it early through testing is the smartest thing you can do to protect your long-term health. And if you are eating swordfish because you love the firm texture and mild flavor, I promise you, there are safer fish that have the exact same qualities without the toxic load, and I will tell you exactly which ones in just a moment. The key message here is that swordfish is not food. It is a mercury bomb disguised as a premium protein, and no amount of omega-3 or lean protein is worth the damage it does to your brain and your arteries. So please do yourself and your family a favor. Cross swordfish off your shopping list forever and choose one of the many safe alternatives that give you all the benefits without any of the risk. Now that you know which 4 fish to avoid, let me tell you exactly which fish you should be eating instead, because this is where everything comes together and you take back control of your health. The FDA and the American Heart Association both recommend eating fish twice a week, about 4 ounces per serving, to get the omega-3 fats your brain and heart need to stay strong as you age. But it has to be the right fish, and here is the complete safe list that you can trust. Sardines, anchovies, wild salmon, Atlantic mackerel, herring and trout, all low in mercury and high in benefits. Sardines are one of the absolute best choices because they are tiny. They live short lives, they have almost 0 mercury, and they are packed with omega-3, calcium, and vitamin D, all in one little fish. Anchovies are just as good, and yes, they are salty. But if you rinse them under water before cooking, the salt level drops significantly, and you are left with pure nutrition in a small, affordable package. Wild salmon is still the gold standard if you can afford it, and even once a week is enough to give you all the brain-protecting, heart-protecting, joint-protecting benefits that make fish so valuable. Atlantic mackerel is another excellent choice. Do not confuse it with king mackerel. Atlantic mackerel is small, safe, affordable, and one of the richest sources of omega-3 you can find in any fish. Herring and trout round out the list. Both are widely available, easy to cook, and give you all the benefits of fish without any of the toxic risks that come with the big predators we talked about earlier. Now, what if you have been avoiding high-mercury fish for months, eating only the safe options, but you are still experiencing symptoms like fatigue, brain fog, numbness, or unexplained inflammation that will not go away? That does not mean you failed. It means your body may be dealing with mercury or toxins that accumulated over years of eating the wrong fish, and it takes time for your body to clear them out completely. In some cases, underlying conditions like kidney disease, liver problems, or thyroid dysfunction can slow down your body's ability to detoxify heavy metals, so the mercury stays in your system longer than it should. If you have been doing everything right and still not seeing improvement, talk to your doctor about a heavy metal detoxification panel, chelation therapy if needed, and tests to rule out other causes of your symptoms. Here is your action plan starting today. Step 1. Go through your freezer and pantry right now and check every fish product you have. If it is king mackerel, shark, dogfish, swordfish, or farmed salmon, remove it. Step 2. Make a new shopping list with only the safe fish, sardines, anchovies, wild salmon, Atlantic mackerel, herring and trout, and commit to eating 2 servings per week, about 4 ounces each time. Step 3. The next time you visit your doctor, ask these exact questions. Should I get a mercury level test based on my past diet? Are my kidneys and liver functioning well enough to detoxify heavy metals efficiently? Step 4. If you eat fish at restaurants, always ask what type of fish it is before ordering, and if the server does not know or cannot tell you, choose something else or skip the fish entirely. I once read about an elderly fisherman who spent his entire life by the ocean, catching fish, selling fish, eating fish every single day, and he always said the secret to longevity was eating what the sea provides. But in his final years, he developed severe tremors and memory loss, and doctors discovered his mercury levels were among the highest they had ever seen, all because he loved eating the big predator fish he caught. His daughter said the saddest part was not the illness itself, but the fact that he spent his whole life believing he was doing the healthiest thing possible, and no one ever told him the truth. Mercury does not just take away your mobility or your memory, it can take away your independence, your dignity, and the ability to enjoy the final years of your life surrounded by the people you love most. Remember that piece of fish at the beginning, the one you were about to cook without thinking twice. Now you know exactly what to look for, what to avoid, and what to choose instead. Do not wait until your body sends a signal you can no longer ignore. Make the switch today, and if this video helped you, please like it. Share it with someone in your family who needs to hear this. You have the knowledge now, and knowledge is always the most powerful tool for protecting your health, your independence, and the people you care about most. Thank you for being here, and I will see you soon.